Alright y'all, welcome back to the channel and to some more waterfowl patterning here. And I've got another little interesting combo and load to try out and see what it actually can put on the paper. And the load I'm talking about are some of these guys, the Federal Speed-Shoks. These are a 12 gauge 2 3/4 inch ounce and an eighth of number 2 steel shot, and they're saying they want to go 1375, but we'll see there as well for what we get for velocity. And as for the setup we're going to be running them in today is my Remington 1187 Premier here with the stock modified choke in the gun. This modified choke really seems to shoot pretty well with the steel stuff for sure. So we should be able to see some pretty decent looking results today. But as for the test, it's going to be the same as usual. I have a duck target set up down at 40 yards. I also have my chronograph, so the shot will be across there and we'll be able to see what kind of speed we're running. So let's take you guys over and get you a view of the target. I wish these duck targets had a little bit better color to them when the pellets actually hit the paper, but they just really don't, to be honest with you. So you might be able to see a little bit, but we'll take a better look at it here in a minute. But let's get you guys a view of the shot. I'll head up and take the shot. We'll glance at what kind of speed we have, and then we'll go down and see how they did. So let's head over here and shoot them and see what kind of performance we can actually get on the paper out of these loads. Okay, so that round gave us 1267 through the chronograph. Remember, the box was claiming 1375, so we did not see that. But that's still moving a pretty respectable speed, really. And most likely, if we shot several more, we would be bouncing just above and just under that 1300 mark if I had to take a guess. So not too bad, but definitely a little bit lower than what the box was claiming. But how did they do downrange? Let's go check it out and see. Alright, so now we're downrange at our 40-yard target, and this is what we got here. Now, we absolutely have a dead duck here. There's one right straight through the breast area there, and several more that would have got into some wings there for sure. And kind of surrounding him, there was a pretty even little spread of pellets almost all the way around him. So he was definitely a dead duck for sure. Now, as we look at the rest of the pattern there, it's not terrible, but it's not quite as even as some of the other loads I've seen so far. It's definitely not terrible by any means, but we do have some little bit larger voids in it here, which is not what we want when it comes to a waterfowl pattern. I at least want a nice even spread here. Even if it's not super condensed, an even spread is going to do me a lot better. But that's not to say this is a terrible pattern at all, because it's not. And there's not really going to be any kind of a duck that would have made it through the center of that pattern right there. So as long as you lead your shots properly, this load would absolutely do it. Now, when it gets to the outskirt edges of the pattern, that might be a little bit different story compared to some of the other loads that we've tested. But overall, dead duck, and it's not terrible looking. But I definitely think that we can do a little bit better with some other loads, or maybe we even try this shell through like the 835 or a different choke in that 1187. I don't know. Let me know your thoughts about it and maybe what you might want to see us test. But at the end of the day, we would have had a dead duck here for sure. Okay, and this is the wad out of that shell, and as you can see, it opened up pretty much absolutely perfectly. No rips or tears or anything like that in there. No buffer material or pellets stuck down in there. You can see all the little dimples from those pellets, but everything looks pretty much just perfect on this one, so nothing too special to see here, and I think it did exactly what it was supposed to do for us. Alright y'all, well, what did you think about that performance there? We definitely have a dead duck, and if he was anywhere, definitely within that blue piece of paper there, he would have not made it through that cloud of pellets. But with that being said, we did see a couple little holes start to pop up around the outskirt edges of the pattern. So if you lead the shots properly, you're perfectly fine with this load out to 40 yards. But out at that longer range, if you're a little bit ahead of them or a little bit behind them, you may start to run into a few misses. But what are your guys' thoughts about it? And have you ran this load or tested this load or anything like that? And if so, what has been your results and what kind of setup did you use? Leave all your thoughts in the comments below and let me know, should we test this load through another choke or two? or the 835 and see what it does in that. That might be really interesting to see. And with that being said, we do have an Instagram for the channel now, so if you would like to see some updates and sneak peeks and things like that, the link will be in the description for that. But with that being said, I've still got another test I need to run out here today before the rain moves in, so I'm going to jump back to it, and I'll see y'all in the next one.